is I'm going to read a Wikipedia article to you. So if you're not interested, it'll bore you to sleep. But if you are interested, you can learn something, which is kind of cool. I'm still on a learning kick, even though I'm done university for now. So the article I'm going to read to you today is about the shows considerable diversity in fruit color and odor, size of flesh and seed, and tree phenology. In the species name, Cibethinus refers to the Indian civet Vivera cibetha. There is a disagreement regarding whether this name, bestowed by Linnaeus, refers to civets being so fond of the durian that the fruit was used as a bait to entrap them, or to the durian smelling like the civet. Durian flowers are large and feathery, with copious nectar, and give off a heavy, sour, and buttery odor. These features are typical of flowers pollinated by certain species of bats that eat nectar and pollen. According to research conducted in Malaysia in the 1970s, durians were pollinated almost exclusively by cave fruit bats. However, a 1996 study indicated two species, Durio grandiflorus and Durio oblongus, were pollinated by spider hunters, and another species, Durio cudiensis, was pollinated by giant honeybees and birds as well as bats. Cultivars. Over the centuries, numerous durian cultivars propagated by vegetative clones have arisen in Southeast Asia. They used to be grown with mixed results from seeds of trees bearing superior quality fruit, but are now propagated by layering, marcotting, or more commonly by grafting, including bud, veneer, wedge, whip, or U-grafting onto seedlings of randomly selected rootstocks. Different cultivars can be distinguished to some extent by variations in the fruit shape, such as the shape of the spines. Durian consumers express preferences for specific cultivars, which fetch higher prices in the market. Most cultivars have a common name and a code number starting with D. For example, some popular clones are Cobb D99, Chini D123, Persera or Green Durian or Tuan Meki Chow D145, with no common name, D24 and D169. So D24 and D169 don't have a normal name, unlike the others, I guess. Each cultivar has a distinct taste and odor. More than 200 cultivars of D. cibethinus exist in Thailand. Montong is the most commercially sought after for its thick, full-bodied, creamy, and mild sweet-tasting flesh, with a relatively moderate smell emitted and smaller seeds, while Chani is the best in terms of its resistance to infection by Phytophthora palmivora. Among all the cultivars in Thailand, 5 are currently in large-scale commercial cultivation: Chani, Montong, Kanyao, Ruang, and Gradum. Vietnam, the same process has been done through competitions held by the Southern Fruit Research Institute. A recently popular variety is the Cat Mountain King. In recent times, Songpol Somsri, a Thai government scientist, crossbred more than 90 varieties of durian to create Chantapuri No. 1, a cultivar without the characteristic odor, which is awaiting final approval from the local Ministry of Agriculture. Another hybrid, Chantapuri No. 3, develops the odor about 3 days after the fruit is picked, which enables an odorless transport, yet satisfies consumers who prefer the pungent odor. Cultivation and availability. The durian is native to Brunei, Indonesia, and Malaysia. There is some debate as to whether the durian is native to the Philippines or was introduced. The durian is grown in other areas with a similar climate. It is strictly tropical and stops growing when mean daily temperatures drop below 22 degrees Celsius. The center Festival is an annual celebration featuring the durian in Davao City. Other places where durians are grown include Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam, Myanmar, India, Sri Lanka, the West Indies, Florida, Hawaii, Papua New Guinea, the Polynesian Islands, Madagascar, southern China, Hainan Island, northern Australia, and Singapore. Durian was introduced into Australia in the early 1960s, and clonal material was first introduced in 1975. Over 30 clones of Duriosibithinus and 6 Durio species have been subsequently introduced into Australia. Excuse me. China is the major importer, purchasing 65,000 tons in 1999, followed by Singapore with 40,000 tons, and Taiwan with 5,000 tons. In the same year, the United States imported 2,000 tons, mostly frozen, and the European community imported 500 tons. The durian is a seasonal fruit, unlike some other non-seasonal tropical fruits such as the papaya, which are available throughout the year. In peninsular Malaysia and Singapore, the season for durians is typically from June to August, which coincides with that of the mangosteen. Prices of durians are relatively high as compared with other fruits. For example, in Singapore, the strong demand for high-quality cultivars such as the D24, Sultan, and Mao Shan Wang has produced in typical retail prices of between, I think it's 8 Singapore dollars to 8 or 15 Singapore dollars per kilogram of whole fruit, with an average weight of about 1.5 kilograms or 3.3 pounds. A durian fruit would therefore cost about 12 Singapore dollars to 25 others are more graphic. British novelist Anthony Burgess writes that eating durian is like eating sweet raspberry blancmange in the lavatory. Chef Andrew Zimmern compares the taste to completely rotten, mushy onions. Anthony Bourdain, a lover of durian, relates his encounter with the fruit thus. Its taste can only be described as indescribable, something you will either love or despise. Your breath will smell as if you've been French kissing your dead grandmother. Travel and food writer Richard Sterling says, its odor is best described as pig droppings. I'm not going to use the word he used. Turpentine and onions garnished with a gym sock. It can be smelled from yards away. Despite its great local popularity, the raw fruit is forbidden from some establishments such as hotels, subways, and airports, including public transportation in Southeast Asia. Other comparisons have been made with civet, sewage, stale vomit, skunk spray, and used surgical swabs. The wide range of descriptions for the odor of durian may have a great deal to do with the variability of durian odor itself. Durians from different species or clones can have significantly different aromas. For example, red durian, or Duriodolcis, has a deep caramel flavor with a turpentine odor, while red-fleshed durian, Durioglavulens, emits a fragrance of roasted almonds. Among the varieties of Duriosepithinus, Thai varieties are sweeter in flavor and less odorous than Malay ones. The degree of ripeness has an effect on the flavor as well. 3 scientific analyses of the composition of durian aroma from 1972, 1980, and 1995 each found a mix of volatile components including esters, ketones, and various sulfur compounds, with no agreement on which may be primarily responsible for the distinctive odor. This strong odor can be detected half a mile away by animals, thus luring them. In addition, the fruit is extremely appetizing to a variety of animals, including squirrels, mouse deer, pigs, orangutan, elephants, and even carnivorous tigers. While some of these animals eat the fruit and dispose of the seed under the parent plant, others swallow the seed with the fruit and then transport it some distance before excreting, with the seed being dispersed as a result. The thorny, armored covering of the fruit discourages smaller animals. Larger animals are more likely to transport the seeds far from the parent tree. Ripeness and selection. According to the Larousse Gastronomique, the durian fruit is ready to eat when its husk begins to crack. However, the ideal stage of ripeness to be enjoyed varies from region to region in Southeast Asia and by species. Some species grow so tall that they can only be collected once they have fallen to the ground, whereas most cultivars of Duriosepithinus are nearly always cut from the tree and allowed to ripen while waiting to be sold. Some people in southern Thailand prefer their durians relatively young, when the clusters of fruit within the shell published in 1563. In 1741, Herbarium Amboinense by the German botanist Georg Eberhard Rumphius was published, providing the most detailed and accurate account of durians for over a century. The genus Durium has a complex taxonomy that has seen the subtraction and addition of many species since it was created by Rumphius. During the early stages of its taxonomical study, there was some confusion between durian and soursop, Annona muricata, for both of these species had a thorny green fruit. It is also interesting to note that, the Malay name for soursop is Durian belentana, meaning Dutch durian. In the 18th century, Johann Anton Weinmann considered the durian to belong to Castanae family, as its fruit was similar to the horse chestnut. Durio cibethinus was introduced into Ceylon by the Portuguese in the 16th century and was reintroduced many times later. It has been planted in the Americas, but confined to botanical gardens. The first seedlings were sent from the Royal Botanic Gardens, KEW, to Auguste Saint-Armand of Dominica in 1884. In southeastern Asia, the durian has been cultivated for centuries at the village level, probably since the late 18th century, and commercially since the mid-20th century. In My Tropic Isle, Australian author and naturalist Edmund James Banfield tells how, in the early 20th century, a friend in Singapore sent him a durian seed, which he planted and cared for on his tropical island off the north coast of Queensland. In 1949, the British botanist E.J.H. Corner published The Durian Theory, or The Origin of the Modern Tree. His theory was that endozoochory, the enticement of animals to transport seeds in their stomach, arose before any other method of seed dispersal, and that primitive ancestors of Durio species were the earliest practitioners of that dispersal method, in particular the red durian, exemplifying the primitive fruit of flowering plants. Since the early 1990s, the domestic and international demand for durian in the Association of Southeast Asian Nations region has increased significantly, partly due to the increasing affluence of Asia. Culinary uses. Durian fruit is used to flavor a wide variety of sweet edibles such as traditional Malay candy, ice kasang, dodol, rose biscuits, and with a touch of modern innovation, ice cream, milkshakes, mooncakes, Yule logs, and cappuccino. Pulut durian is glutinous rice steamed with coconut milk and served with ripened durian. In Sabah, red durian is fried with onions and chili and served as a side dish. Red-fleshed durian is traditionally added to sayur, an Indonesian soup made from freshwater fish. Ikan prengkes is fish cooked in a durian-based sauce, traditional in Sumatra. Tempoyak refers to fermented durian, usually made from lower quality durian that is unsuitable for direct consumption. Tempoyak can be eaten. It's Eastern, but it can be eaten either cooked or uncooked, is normally eaten with rice, and can also be used for making curry. Sambal tempoyak is a Sumatran dish made from the fermented durian fruit, coconut milk, and a collection of spicy ingredients known as sambal. In Thailand, blocks of durian paste are sold in the markets, though much of the paste is adulterated with pumpkin. Unripe durians may be cooked as a vegetable, except in the Philippines, where all uses are sweet rather than savory. Malaysians make both sugared and salted preserves from durian. When durian is minced with salt, onions, and vinegar, it is called odor. The durian seeds, which are the size of chestnuts, can be eaten whether they are boiled, acids and should not be ingested. Young leaves and shoots of the durian are occasionally cooked as greens. Sometimes the ash of the burned rind is added to special cakes. The petals of durian flowers are eaten in the North Sumatra province of Indonesia, while in the Moluccas Islands, the husk of the durian fruit is used as fuel to smoke fish. The nectar and pollen of the durian flower that honeybees collect is an important honey source, but the characteristics of the honey are unknown. Nutritional and medicinal uses. Durian fruit contains a high amount of sugar, vitamin C, potassium, and the serotonergic amino acid tryptophan, and is a good source of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. It is recommended as a good source of raw fats by several raw food advocates, while others classify it as a high glycemic food, recommending to minimize its consumption. In Malaysia, a decoction of the leaves and roots used to be prescribed, my goodness, as an antipyretic. The leaf juice is applied on the head of a fever patient. The most complete description of the medicinal uses of the durian as remedies for fevers is a Malay prescription collected by Burkill and Hanif in 1930. It instructs the reader to boil the roots of Hibiscus rosa sinensis with the roots of Duriosipithinus, the Phyllium longan, the Phyllium mutabile, and Artocarpus integrifolia, and drink the decoction or use it as a poultice. In the 1920s, Durian Fruit Products Incorporated of New York City launched a product called Odor India as a health food supplement, selling it at $9 US for a dozen bottles, each containing 63 tablets. The tablets allegedly contain durian and a species of the genus Allium from India and vitamin E. The company promoted the supplement, saying that it provides more concentrated healthful energy in food form than any other product the world affords. Now, I didn't quite, actually, I'll finish it. There's only 2 paragraphs left. Customs and beliefs. Southeast Asian folk beliefs, as well as traditional Chinese medicine, consider the durian fruit to have warming properties liable to cause excessive sweating. The traditional method to counteract this is to pour water into the empty shell of the fruit after the pulp has been consumed and drink it. An alternative method is to eat the durian in accompaniment with mangosteen, which is considered to have cooling properties. Pregnant women or people with high blood pressure are traditionally advised not to consume durian. Another common local belief is that the durian is harmful when eaten with coffee or alcoholic beverages. The latter belief can be traced back at least to the 18th century when Rumphius stated that one should not drink alcohol after eating durians, as it will cause indigestion and bad breath. In 1929, J.D. Gimlet wrote in his Malay Poisons and Germ Cures that the durian fruit must not be eaten with brandy. In 1981, J.R. Croft wrote in his Mbombakakai in Handbooks of the Flora of Papua New Guinea that a feeling of morbidity often follows the consumption of alcohol too soon after eating durians. Several medical investigations on the validity of this belief have been conducted with varying conclusions, though a study by the University of Tsukuba finds the fruit's high sulfur content caused the body to inhibit the activity of aldehyde dehydrogenase, causing a 70% reduction of the ability to clear toxins from the body. The Javanese believe your durian to have aphrodisiac qualities and impose a set of rules on what may or may not be consumed with it or shortly thereafter. A saying in Indonesian, Durian jatuh sarang naik, meaning the durians fall and the sarangs come up, refers to this belief. I'd never heard that. That's kind of funny. The warning against the supposed lecherous quality of this fruit soon spread to the West. The Swedenborgian philosopher artificially by scraping scales off immature fruits. Cultural influence. The durian is commonly known as the king of fruits, a label that can be attributed to its formidable look and overpowering odor. In its native southeastern Asia, the durian is an everyday food and portrayed in the local media in accordance with the cultural perception it has in the region. Excuse me. The durian symbolized the subjective nature of ugliness and beauty in Hong Kong director Fruit Chan's 2000 film Durian Durian, and in Chinese Laolin Piu Piu. That's a cool name, and was a nickname for the reckless but lovable protagonist of the eponymous Singaporean TV comedy Durian King, played by Adrian Pang. Likewise, the oddly shaped Esplanade building in Singapore is often called the Durian by locals, and the Big Durian is the nickname of Jakarta, Indonesia. One of the names of Thailand contributed to the list of storm names for western North Pacific tropical cyclones was Durian, which was retired after the second storm of this name in 2006. Being a fruit much loved by a variety of wild beasts, the durian sometimes signifies the long-forgotten animalistic aspect of humans, as in the legend of Orang Mawas, the Malaysian version of Bigfoot, and Orang Pendek, its Sumatran version, both of which have been claimed to feast on durians. So that is the Wikipedia article surrounding the durian. And from my own personal experience, I can add that yes, I have tried it, and I had it in Malaysia in July of last year. So I had it during its most fragrant and pungent time, I guess, because its ripeness season is between June and August. So I believe I got the strongest flavor of durian, and I was surrounded by Malaysians while I ate it, so they were all quite impressed. They really do love it down there, and it's very common. If you do get the chance to try it, firstly, I recommend it because it really is an experience unlike anything else that you will have in terms of fruit. And I'll give you 2 tips that my very best friend from Malaysia gave me when I first ate durian. For one thing, you eat it, like you eat the whole durian. You don't just sit down and have a snack of durian, you eat the whole thing. Usually it's shared with a bunch of people, but you're usually given, at least in my experience, a half a durian husk, and you just eat the pulp and eat the flesh right off of the seed. Of course you don't eat the seed, but you eat the flesh off of the seed. As I think you'll probably be able to see in the picture, the seeds are very big, and the tips that she gave me, because durian really does have a powerful, powerful smell, she told me that to fix your breath,